Welcome to the course, A Science Journalism Approach to Controversies, the Case of Vaccines. The objective of the course is to explain how a science journalist should cover public scientific controversies. It can be quite challenging. Presenting both sides of some controversies, with each one on equal footing as traditional media balance requires, can be irresponsible journalism. The controversy over vaccines is a very good example of such a situation. Responsible media coverage requires dropping media neutrality when there is overwhelming evidence supporting one side of the controversy. Throughout the course, we will introduce ways to identify which side of a controversy deserves to be highlighted. We will look at how to evaluate the credibility of experts, of their scientific papers, of the journals where they published, and of the institutions where they work. At the end, we will propose how to cover a controversy as a science journalist. Determining the relative credibility of experts is a necessary skill for a science journalist. Even without a full-blown controversy, experts often disagree or even contradict themselves. The course examines how web ranking systems already in place within the scientific community can also be used by journalists to weigh expertise. There is no claim, though, that these ranking systems can replace a network of recognized experts that can be reached rapidly by phone or in person. Before we start, let's make a pause to remember that vaccines are a very good thing. This course presents many examples of bad, pseudo, junk, or even fraudulent vaccine science. But vaccines are one of the most wonderful and important tools of humanity's perpetual fight against diseases. Vaccines have saved millions of lives and continue to do so. There are still wonderful stories unfolding and upcoming to be told about vaccines. Controversies which involve some science argumentation, and with the debate taking place among scientists, but also in the public sphere, are called public scientific controversies. In these controversies, all sides dress the discourse in science. If a controversy exists, it means there is an ongoing debate with the conflicting views already argued through individuals and organizations that can be identified. A journalist can then rapidly examine the individuals, the organizations, and their statements. The course proposes to journalists that they examine the public scientific controversy about vaccines through its actors, their organizations, their publications, and their statements. It looks successively at controversial organizations, controversial papers, controversial journals, controversial scientists, controversial communities, and controversial statements. In each case, we will look at assessing the credibility of these controversial identities. How can a science journalist assess scientific credibility and determine which experts is right? Journalists do not have the expertise required to discover the methodological flaws, the statistical manipulations, the doctored results, and declare unsubstantiated the conclusions of a scientific paper. But this is no obstacle to a science journalist because there are proxy indicators of scientific credibility. Indirectly, a journalist can assess organizations and individuals, asking who funds their research, examining the journals that carry their publications, and checking what other researchers and scientific bodies say about these organizations and individuals.